Welcome, welcome, welcome. What a Gwaan, Jamaica. So, for those who are international and do not know the meaning of what a Gwaan, is just an abbreviated way of saying what's up, what's happening. It's a conjunction of saying what is going on. So just think about it. What is going on? What a Gwaan, going on, going on, go on. Can you hear it? Yes, man. All right. So if you are listening to me from the Philippines, I want you to write a comment and say, I am here from the Philippines. Now remember, you do not have to like what I'm doing to write something. I just want to know that you're listening and where you're listening from. Drop a comment below. Let me know you're watching this thing, because I'm trying to make this experience a very interesting one. Let me say, what a Gwaan! See, I have a nice little setup for you guys, man. I have a nice little setup for you guys. A nice setup, man. And gonna talk about something today. Let me first apologize about the poor lagging quality of the live that I promised to put out, or should I say, I attempted to put out recently. It was really a disastrous experience. In fact, I'm not doing a live right now. I have to be recording it and then I upload it to YouTube because the internet in my house is really very poor. Oh, I must apologize. Well, you can see my name on the screen, right? But I am coming to you from China. So I am doing a live from China. I'm a Jamaican, right? I am a Jamaican. And I am just adding my voice to those in the diaspora, or with those in the diaspora asking for accountability in government. So there are a number of things going on in Jamaica that are of grave concern, and I just want to explore that with you today. I want to explore that with you today, and I'm going to put that up on the screen in a short while. In fact, maybe I should do it right now. Let me try see if I can do that right now. How do I do it again? Kind of not so. Let me turn off my camera first. All right, so today we're going to talk about Jamaica showing signs of dictatorship, and I would like you guys to pay attention to the exclamation mark at the end. And the exclamation mark at the end, of course, is a question sign. So we are all intelligent people, and we must know the difference between a statement and a question sign. So a statement would be like, Jamaica is showing signs of dictatorship. A question would be something like, is Jamaica showing signs of dictatorship? Or something like, Jamaica showing signs of dictatorship. That's the importance of tone in language. Oh, before I forget, if you're here for the first time, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me, please. Because you can see that I do not have a lot of subscribers. I do not have a lot of subscribers, and I'm trying to grow my channel because you know that I am a musician. I am a creator, I'm a teacher, or should I say a digital creator. I am a composer. In fact, I'm going to make you listen to some of my music in a short while before we get into the topic. So the topic for today is Jamaica showing signs of dictatorship. I'm asking the question. And I'm going to give you a background as to why I say that. But if you're here for the first time, I would like you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me, because one thing I can promise is that I will be responsible in my pronouncements on this platform, because I am from a country which is said to be of free speech. And you might be saying, why am I saying it's said to be of free speech? Because the question that, or the topic that we're going to explore today, is some amount of concern as to the truth about that, you know. So we're going to explore that. But let us talk about some things that has been in the headlines, no? Like for instance, teenagers being abducted or murdered, and you know, you have in Africa, you know, I don't know, we could call it a coup. There's a new leader in Burkina Faso. They say Tata Zaijian. That's Chinese for goodbye to the French. We want to run things on our own now, and you know, every country reserves the right to be sovereign. We have some countries that are pressured by the United States to take on the way of the gays, or you know, be accepting of it, to the point where they threaten them with the sanctions or cutting off aids and all of that, you know. But as one of my good friends would say, all politics is local. So we're going to focus on what is happening in Jamaica right now. And if you're from the diaspora, leave a comment, and all views are welcome here, you know. This is social media, and I understand that you may not agree with what I may posit, but it's okay. But as is posted on the screen, I'm hoping that we can at least agree to disagree respectfully, and you know, we don't want to become insolent and you know, disrespectful to each other's views. You know, I can tell you this much, that I can be a very strong person expressing my views, but I try to be very respectful in my discourse. So you know, a lot of people are losing hope, and a lot of people are losing hope this day. Just recently, there's a story about a lady or a former. I'm not sure if she's CEO of Digicel. She was killed in what is known as a murder suicide. So it is alleged that she was killed by her lover. So she was killed by her lover, and then he killed himself. You know, a lot of things are going on. You know, so maybe we need to ask God for some intervention. Hmm? Let's see what's going on right there. Yeah, we need to ask God to come in our lives, my people. Times are getting really serious.
In this time of fear, I sure need you near. Hope feels so pale, feeling this ain't fair. I know you care, but I'm feeling down. I am feeling deeply in need of thee. Amazing.
God is amazing indeed, because you woke up this morning and you're clothed in your right mind. You got hope.
Time after time, Lord, I thank you for faithfully and prayerfully in faith and in faith. Please show up.
All right, let's stop it right there. So, as I told you before, now, people, I'm improving at my craft, and I'm trying to make the experience beautiful for you. So, you need to support me. Well, I can't say you need to support me, but I'm admonishing you to support me, because, you know, at the end of the day, it's a choice. You know, you can choose to listen to me, and you can choose not to listen to me. But so as not to stray away from the main argument, let me once again put back up the mood for today. Jamaica showing signs of dictatorship. Why am I saying that? Is this man a jail? Is this man a PMP? Is this Claudius Maye that is on YouTube right now? Is he sent by the PMP? Is he a PMP sent person who is here to advocate or make some discourse for the PMP? No, my friends, I'm not. I am not. I am an uncommitted voter. Some of you may not know what that means because some of you are diehards. Some of you are diehards, so you may not know what that means. But an uncommitted voter is a person who is not aligned to a political party and vote based on issues. Have I voted before? Yes. Have I voted only for one party? No, I have voted for both parties. So I am going to present a little bit of context to you as to why I said why I'm saying what I'm saying right now. So let me go ahead and open some stuff on my computer. I hope it doesn't freeze up because sometimes these computers they don't seem to be able to manage too much load. I don't know. I'm just hoping that this video would not be having any lagging issues. So how are you doing, man? How life? How is life? How are things with you? Drop a comment below, man. Let me know how you're doing. Leave a comment, man. Don't just come on the channel and watch the video. Let me know that you're listening to me. And I want to know that you're listening to me. In fact, you know what? Something just came to my mind a while ago. Before I get into the topic, let me play one more song. But this time I'm not going to play my own song. Many years ago, there's a very popular, what's his name again? I shouldn't say his name, and I should just surprise you. What's his name? I'm trying to remember his name before I play the song. I can't seem to find it. It's right here on my computer, but for some reason I'm not seeing it. Maybe because I am. Am I looking for the wrong name or something? It's kind of weird. I did save it, but I think I got it. I think I have it a little bit too far. Yeah, that's right.
Me fit tell you what a Gwaan in a Jamaica.
What a Gwaan in a Jamaica.
What a Gwaan in a Jamaica. Portia said that she would.
Let's go back to the top. Let's go back to the top of this song because we really need to ask ourselves, what is going on in Jamaica?
What a Gwaan in a Jamaica. And me fit tell you what a Gwaan.
By the way, let me pause it right there because, there's a thing called copyright. The copyright law, and there's something called a fair use. So, the copyright law says that you should not be using people's content without their permission. However, there's an aspect of there's something called fair use where you can use a small portion of a person's creation for commentary, and that's exactly what I'm doing. So I want to make sure that I take this thing back to the beginning so that you guys can see the name, because I want to make sure I give credit to the author. Oh, and I hope I was not muted before, and I apologize. That is why I prefer to do these things live, because if I am muted, you can always type a comment and say, hey, you're muted, but this is not live, so I'm recording it now because I'm afraid that if I do it live, you might not believe it, but this is actually the third time I'm recording this because I'm using a software to kind of make it look a little bit more interesting. So let's see what's going on. Let's go back to Sir Michael Abramson.
What a Gwaan in a Jamaica, you want to know. What a Gwaan in a Jamaica, and me fit tell you. What a Gwaan in a Jamaica, me mix up down. What a Gwaan in a Jamaica.
The other day a man go a one funeral. Him said something controversial. Later on, him find out say him mouth never work so good for day. I try freestyle, but I say some foolishness still. But you're gonna learn about what I am talking about very soon, because there's a very popular case There's a case right now going on in Jamaica. Um, I don't think I need to play the more Michael Abrams song, but I kind of felt that would have been a good way. What am I showing? I'm not showing something I left. Oh, I kind of felt that would be a good way to kind of bring some context as to what I'm about to talk about. So let me get right into the meat of the matter. Oh, so how do I do this now? Sometimes I forget how to do these things. Huh? All right, good. I'm not so. Okay, good. I think this is what I'm supposed to be doing now. I'm going to turn it off because that's actually not ready. Not what I should be showing right now. Let me turn that off too. All right, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is this situation here. Let me open the video. So recently, there's a story of, or there's a situation rather, where the head of the police federation went or made some comments at a funeral. He made some comments at a funeral that were controversial. To be fair, they were not controversial enough, but the comments seem to never go down too well with the police high command, and of such that police federation chairman, his name is Mr. Rowan James, I believe his name is. He was consequently interdicted. And for those who may be watching and do not know the meaning of the word interdicted, it means that you have been given an authoritative sanction. Sorry about that a while ago, I touched the wrong button. You have been given an authoritative sanction which will prevent you from continuing in your post. It doesn't mean that you're fired, but you would have to, basically you'll be meted out with disciplinary actions for misconduct, so to speak. And to be honest with you, that's one of the reasons why I am doing this video today. Because there are a number of contexts, a number of things that has been happening in the country since the advent of this administration, the Andrew Holness-led administration. We have seen a number of instances that raises questions as to whether or not we are still living in what we have come to know as a democracy. In fact, I'm going to provide some context with some of those right now. Let me see if I can find some of these things for you to show you on my screen. Let me see if I can put them up. All right, I'm going to show you guys some of them. Let me minimize some of these things because I don't want to have too many things open because this computer sometimes kind of be weird. All right, let's start in order. What was the first case we have? All right, so the first case we have was a case of a young man who, let me see if I can highlight it in this article here. All right, so let me make you see the topic first. Lawsuit threat. So let's also take a look at the date. So the press or the media house is the Gleaner, right? Well, it's a press. The press is the Gleaner. And this article, as you can see right here, was July 29, 2021, and we are now in 2023. So it says, lawsuit threat, arrested man, family fearful of cops after expletive saga. So I am not going to read all of that article, but what I'm going to do is that I'm going to get to a part in the article that kind of may give you a synopsis as to how I arrive at what I'm about to say today. Where is it? Oh, let me see. I want to find that specific spot. I'm very close. Oh yes, good. Right here. Let me make it bold so you can see it. Oops, I can't make it bold. What's going on here? Okay, good. In April 2022, or he said that Dane Mitchell, a Jonestown St. Andrew resident, was arrested after a video went viral showing him uttering foul language at Onus. So, just in case you might be from another country, so Onus is the surname of the current Jamaican Prime Minister. His name is Mr. Andrew Onus. All right, Andrew Onus. All right, so Mitchell, which is the person who uttered the expletives, was one of several persons detained island-wide under the Disaster Risk Management Act. He was fined $60,000. All right, so basically, I suppose he was fined the $60,000 for breaking the Disaster Risk Management Act. But I kind of felt like there's something behind this. Because basically, he came out and he said some things that, you know, were not necessarily so polite to the Prime Minister. But if we were to be honest, there's no law that says you must be polite to the Prime Minister. I don't want this live to be too long enough, so I'm not even going to read all of it. You see, so as a consequence of what happened, the fine that he faced, so the family soon. So St. Anne resident Shakil Higgins and his family have threatened to file a lawsuit against the police and the Jamaican government after he was arrested and cajoled into submitting a public apology. So that's one thing I need to also say is that what was controversial about this is that the police officer that seemed to coerce him into doing the public apology identified himself as his attorney. So in that case, based on the little that I know about law, I do not claim to be, what did they say, no, a virtuoso at jurisprudence, but what I do know is that as the defendant, you would tend to want to argue in the interest of your client. And the police officer or lawyer of the young man, quote unquote, so to speak, asking him to apologize would not be in his best interest in light of the fact that uttering expletives is not a criminal offense. We could always argue about it being compounded by him breaking the Disaster Risk Management Act. Okay, all right. I'll give you that then. Let's leave it at that then for now. All right. That was maybe, I don't want to say the first case, but maybe the first one that I can recall that kind of raised people's eyebrows. So remember, this government came into power in like about, say, I don't want to tell any lie. I think he came into power in 2016. And then in 2020, I think there was another election, right? So he's actually on his second term. The Prime Minister, Mr. Owens, is on his second term. Now, there was another case of a pastor, and you will be able to see his picture on the screen right now. His name is Peter Chambers. I remember this man, I used to see his videos, and to be honest, I used to wonder if this man was just saying a lot of stuff, but, we have come to see that, a number of things that he's saying, seems to be, well, I don't want to say, some persons might say, if I say it to be true, I might be uttering spurious statements. He has made a lot of assertions like the government being involved into dark secret, introducing the dark world into the country, and all that. But that was not the basis of his arrest. He was arrested because he said, and I'm not being verbatim, that means I'm not being word for word. He was arrested because he said the Prime Minister is going down. He said the Prime Minister is going down. So basically, I think what he was saying at the time is that the Prime Minister is bound to go down based on how he was governing the country and the things that he was doing that was not right in the sight of God. All right, so let's read a little part of it, and let me make sure I validate it with dates again, because I want you people to see the date. And you can see it for yourself. March 21st, what? 26? Maybe I'm not helping with the color. Let me see if I'm making it difficult. March 26, 2021. So all of these things 2021. I hope you're following me. I've gone 25 minutes into this video so far, and I'm trying to be very transparent. Sorry. Peter Chambers, the pastor accused of threatening Prime Minister Andrew Holness via social media videos, not one video, videos, remains in police custody. I mean, can you imagine that? The man, what he said was on video, and naturally, if they were illegal or breaking the law, right away you can assess them just like that, and you can release the person. But he was, I don't know how long he stayed. I don't think it was long enough. I don't think he stayed long though, but the fact that he was even placed behind bars, was something. The following interviews with police officers assigned to the counterterrorism and organized crime, they call them CTOC, so that's the abbreviation for the Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Branch. A file was submitted to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution for a ruling on whether Chambers should be charged. It is understood that Chambers was questioned for breaches of the Cyber Crimes Act relating to the video he made allegedly, and those words are underlined, issuing threats to several persons, including Holness. And to be honest, I think that is a lie, because he didn't do that. That's actually a misrepresentation of the facts. You're entitled to your own facts, but no, not your own facts. You're entitled to your own opinion, but not your own facts. And the clergyman who's affiliated with the Miracle Healing Deliverance Ministry was arrested Wednesday morning at Brownstown. I don't even want to read a lot of this. Here, these were his exact words. In a recent social media video, Chambers said Andrew Holness must go down. All right? Let me try to be very fair. Because as I said before, I want to be fair, because I do not want people to leave my channel because I think I'm biased. But I know some of you will still leave anyway, and I really don't care about that. But let me be fair. You must go down. If I look at you and say, you must go down, isn't that a statement of ambivalence? Because it can mean so many things. When many years ago, I had a female friend, and she said to me, I remember she was studying to become a lawyer, and she said, there are two, when it comes down to law, the judges consider two things. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing the words right. She taught me about the actus reus, and she taught me about the mens rea. The actus reus, as it is inferred from the sound, actus, actions, refers to the actions. And the mens rea is the intent. So to give you a context into that, if you're driving a car and a child runs out into the car, and you happen to hit the child with the car, we can consider, the judge would consider the action, of course, which is the child was hit by the car. But then the judge will also have to consider the intent, which is the mens rea. So the action is the hitting of the car. In fact, I don't even know if you would even say you hit the child. Well, technically you did, but maybe the child was just running to the car. So this is actually, law is subject to, so this to me, was just a continuation of what was suspected by many of the Prime Minister not wanting people to say anything. And what was disappointing to me, and still to date, is that the Prime Minister has never come out and said anything about any of these actions by the police. All right, I'm going to be fair again. What about Claudius? Claudius, Maye, you're talking rubbish. You're talking foolishness. What about the separation of powers? That means the government not interfering into the police business. All right? okay, yeah, we can talk about separation of powers, but it's the government's duty to make policy, and it's the police duty to enforce them. And if the government see the police operate in a manner that is in contravention of the policy, then the government can make a suggestion to them without overstepping. Because the most important thing is that you don't want to overreach, and that is why you have a minister of national security, because he is the supervisor for the commissioner. All right. Okay then. All right. Those are two cases. Those are two cases. Let's look at those two cases. I think led some other persons to draw some conclusions. Is freedom of speech under threat in Jamaica? Remember, this was 2021, and I've never publicly said anything about this. But now that Corporal James has been interdicted, I feel a little bit compelled to speak. And I'm going to elaborate on his situation a little more later on in this video. Is freedom of speech under threat? All right, let's go down some more and see what's happening here. So this is dated. I always like to show the date because you might say, all right, so July the 30th, 2021. So everything so far, 2021. CVM TV. All right. So there was a panel discussion, right? The law states that all persons in Jamaica are entitled to the right to freedom of speech and expression, and the right to seek, receive, distribute, or disseminate information, opinions, and ideas through any media. While exceptions exist, questions are being raised over whether or not freedom of speech, or if you want to say expression, is being eroded in Jamaica following the arrest of individuals who expressed their opinion online and were subsequently forced to apologize by agents of the state. Wow. All right, let me go back to this. Just the date. First one. Let me go back to the top. Check the date. July 29th. March 2021. All right. So this one, 2021, right here. Let's go down some more. People the world over are also questioning social media companies' authority to police the elements of expression. Yeah, like for instance, by the way, let me tell you a situation. 'Cause like for me, there's a song that I wrote in 2018. It's called "No Justice, No Peace," and I was actually blocked from advertising the song on Facebook. You know, the song does not advocate any form of violence or war against the government. In fact, you can go and research the lyrics of a song. But there's, for some reason though, some people seem to be afraid of the expression "no justice, no peace," because they seem to perceive that maybe you're asking people to loot and burn down streets, and that is not what the song is asking about. The song is not asking about that. All right, so you need to go and check out the words of the song. All right. So see if you raise concerns about it. You have columnists like Gordon Robinson, right here. I like reading his articles. He said recently. Oh, let me show you the date again. My apologies. August 21. You see that? Okay. Look. Let it stay a little bit so you can see it. All right. Let's go down now. Recently, freedom of speech has become a hot button topic. Police arrested at least 3 persons in circumstances. So far, I've spoken about 2, but at that time, there were more. All right? In circumstances suggesting the crime was telling PM, which is Prime Minister, to jump off. I like to read his stuff. He's very witty. He makes you laugh with his using more indelicate and less biblical language. In other words, he's saying, I'm just being nice in saying it, because it wouldn't be kind of me to say it here, One famously forced to apologize to the Prime Minister in a widely broadcast video recorded inside a police station, which I spoke about earlier. In a release issue, lawyers have been subject to sanction by General Legal Counsel for vulgar, sensational, or too frequent advertising. I need to read that again because I want you to listen to that. In a related issue, lawyers have been subject to sanction by legal counsel for vulgar, sensational, or too frequently advertising. So, what's freedom of speech? Like every constitutional freedom, it was constructed as protection against excessive governmental interference and is simply defined as the right to express opinions without government restraint. But it's more than that. It's a democratic ideal dating back to ancient Greece, where free speech was pioneered as inherent to democracy. All right, and we can go on and go on and go on and go on. All right, we can go on and go on and go on and go on and go on. But a number of persons have been asking the same question. See, what free speech? Jamaica banned some music and art show. You see? All right, what's the date for this thing? This is 2022 now. So even the music, right? I have some level of ambivalence about the music thing. I am a musician, but I cannot believe that we have a responsibility because music is one of the fastest way to spread what you call it, information. But I'm going to talk about that later on. All right, so you have this website here. They're talking about it. News Americas. Let me see if I can find the author, not the author, but I want to find the name of. So different persons are expressing different views about this whole thing. See that? It's a ban some music and TV shows. But maybe we can understand some of these because some of these institutions fall under the umbrella of the Broadcasting Commission and so on. All right, so that was 2021, and people talking about things 2022, and guess what? We're now in 2023. Okay, so let's talk about something more recent. Let's mute that one for a little while. What are we going to show now? Let's talk about something that occurred. Did I turn on that video? I honestly don't remember if I did. I don't think I did. Let me go find it back. Where's that video? What's the name of that video again? I'm coming, people. The video is right. I'm right into the folder and it's there, but I don't remember the name of the video. But I labeled it so I can find it easily. But wait, I think I can find it. Okay, let me see. Why am I not finding it? It's actually in the folder, and there are not a lot of things. Oh, I just found it. This is the land of my birth. All right, so I'm gonna open that video now. All right. All right, and I want you guys to listen to this video carefully. All right, I want you to listen to this video carefully. Okay, here we go. Let me see, make sure it's not muted. Let me turn it on. I'm gonna mute my. I don't want to mute my mic and then I mute my mic. Let me play it. Good.
I also want to say to the High Command that the Council of Deputies must focus on their areas
I'm so sorry, people. I was speaking the whole time my mic was muted. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. So I was saying that the commissioner, you see, this is what happened when you're not doing a live, because if like I'm doing a live, somebody will type and say, hey, we can't hear you, so I was speaking and it was muted. I muted it because I didn't want the sound to echo and prevent you from hearing the video clearly, but it's okay. So what I was saying is that the commission, not the commissioner, what's his name again? The police federation chairman made some statements, and there wasn't. I don't see anything wrong with what he said. He was just speaking on behalf of his constituents. In fact, if the commissioner is a good person at all, he would support the federation chairman, because there are more rank and file persons in the police force than the ones that are in high command. So you should be encouraging them, because you want to mobilize the base and get them to be productive. But instead of taking that intelligent approach, the commissioner took the backward approach and became a little bit thin-skinned and sought to overreach in his powers. That was, to be honest, that was a clear example of the commissioner overreaching. But it continues along the state of dictatorship. But we could argue, what does the commissioner's conduct or interdicting of Mr. Rowan James has to do with the Prime Minister? I think it's a systemic situation of this government, based on what we have seen. Or let me not say that then, for those who will be offended, but just to kind of present a case. Could we argue that it's a systemic trend? The young man came out, spoke out against the Prime Minister, said some foul language, and told him to go S him mother. You know what the S stand for? S-U-C-K, his mother. And days after, the police. You see, the police too. It's the police. You got to use your head, because I cannot say that it was the Prime Minister who sent you guys to do it. Why did they do it? And you know it's against the law. Why did they do it? All right. And you got to be careful, police, because when you have problems, the public is not going to stand with you, because they're going to see you as tyrants. They're going to see you in Jamaica and terms, you're Babylon. They're going to see you as a Babylon. And them not go on there with you. Them not go on stand with you. You understand, police? We need law and order. We can't do without it, But you have to know now, do my talking a vernacular where the average man can't understand. We have to know now, though. Because look at this now. The man who stands for the average person in the police force was interdicted for speaking the right thing. What the man was saying is that, Mr. Commissioner, stop calling me and try to intimidate me and tell me this and tell me that. You're overreaching. That's basically what he was saying, He's not going to do that. He's not going to stand for that. So don't try it. Right? And it's not the we call that body again. It is not the duty of the High Command to be paying salaries. So why is it that it would be a problem with him? Could we argue that Mr. Major Generally Anthony Anderson is doing the bidding of the Prime Minister, which is to portray an atmosphere of dictatorship? What do you say? Boy, I'm not telling a lie. This don't look good. All right. You think that bad yet? You don't see nothing yet, man. Wait. You don't see nothing yet. You think that bad yet? Just wait. So, as a result of that, right, that occurred, the Mr. What's his name? I can't remember the man name, Yes, that commissioner, of course, is a member of a federation, and they had to get legal advice, legal assistance. He had to get legal assistance. And what came out in the document surprised me. Um, ah, I don't remember the date, you know. I don't remember the date. I don't remember the date when the police federation person was interdicted, you know. But it perhaps would have been in July. Um, I don't remember, right? Perhaps in July because we're in August now, so it's not very long ago. I don't think this thing's even over a month yet, so it must have been in July. But something interesting came out. All right, so this law firm by the name of Peter Mack and Associates um, sent a letter to who did they send the letter to? It will be at the top still, but they sent a letter on behalf of their client, Mr. Rowan James, right? As you can see right here. Oh, can't make it whatever. On June the 12th, 2023. All right, a letter was sent. And what came out of the letter surprised me. As I said before, I want to be fair. This could mean that this was something that was there before this interdiction thing. But why was it made public then? I don't know who released it to the public. But the letter said this. The caption, misrepresentation about the Jamaican Police Federation on financial position and disqualification from office of president. I don't know about you guys, but doesn't that sound funny? It's like they're saying that I don't want to use the word tenor, but yeah, you could almost use the word tenor. They're almost suggesting that is office as the Police Federation chairman is illegal because of dues that were not paid. You know, so when I saw this, it's like I have to wonder if something was being cooked up before. So maybe that was why Mr. James was saying what he said. Of course, we don't know the truth, but there's a thing, as one of my brethren from Jamaica would say, speculation becomes necessary in the absence of facts. So of course we don't have the fact. Well, we have some facts, yes, but we don't know everything. So because we don't know, we have to speculate. We act for and on behalf of Mr. Rowan James, the chairman of the Jamaica Police Federation, right? It is stated in your missive that the Police Federation did not meet its financial obligation up to the time of nomination, and therefore my client's candidature is non and void. So the man said, boy, the man stay in office not right. Him stood in office because there were some procedural errors. And they explain in the letter and all that, right? I'm not going to read the letter. I'm not going to read the letter because I don't want this thing to be too long, but I have some other things that I want to get to. All right, right? So that was one thing. So as a consequence of this letter, the PMP, not this letter I should say, as a consequence of the interdiction of Mr. Rowan James, the PMP released their own letter. And it reads, so let me show you that it's on the PMP letterhead, says no fake. July 27, 2023, and I'm going to go to the bottom and you can see. So this apparently was sent on behalf of Mr. Bunting, right? And it reads, the Opposition People's National Party is deeply concerned about the recent interdiction of the chairman of the where am I? Police Federation, Corporal Rowan James. I want to make sure you can see the letter good. Which we believe may have contravened his constitutional right to free speech. We call on the Commissioner of Police to reconsider this action immediately. Now, why did Mr. Bunting write this letter? Because he is the opposition spokesperson on national security. So Mr. Horace Strong is the Minister of National Security, and as such, Mr. Bunting is the opposition spokesperson, and the duty of the opposition is to speak out when things are not going right. And he was well within his right to do so. All right? I'm not going to read all the letter, but let's read this other part, because I said I want to get to something. The PMP firmly upholds the principle of free speech and the right of every citizen, including public servants. Who are public servants, people? Teachers, nurses, doctors, they serve the public. Right? Teachers, nurses, doctors. So you have public servants, you have civil servants. To express their opinion without fear of reprise. Right? I remember some time ago, there was a young man, and what would I say now? I think he's a doctor, and he said that he posted something on social media and he was asked to take it down. I cannot say that came from the government. Man, I feel like it's kind of getting funny. I cannot say that that came from the government. But, you know, but it's that too, as some persons saying. But anyway, that's not a big deal anyway. Rowan James, as the head of the Police Federation, has not only the right but also the duty to advocate for the welfare and interests of his fellow police officers. Expressing concerns about the upholding of a court order should not be grounds for punitive action, but rather seen as a responsible act. So you see that's a very interesting vantage point, because what he's saying is that, hey, the man writing that letter should not result in him being punished, but it should be seen as him doing a good job, you know? So I'm going to drop a little song. I'm going to drop one more song right here. And then I come back to you guys. right, sorry, I was just saying I'm going to stop it right there for that song. I'm talking now to you. Abuse of power. Abuse of power seems to grow. Redress makes some. Abuse of power seems to grow. Redress makes some say, no, no. Will it cease? Serious thing, Tell me, please. All right, so let's continue this thing. So the PMP issued a press release. And, boy, you think that, the commissioner would have this. All right, so you know what? Maybe I kind of overstepped. So let's just kind of just do this thing. It didn't stop there. They did some other things, and you're going to find out what those are right now. All right, so nationwide news release. I want you guys to see the date, So you see, it's August 23, right? So nationwide is a news outlet. To be honest, some people argue that it's well, I hear one blogger calling it a government mouthpiece station. The blogger said that nationwide is what do you call it now? He said nationwide is a government mouthpiece radio station. What he's saying is that it's a compromised entity, and it has been it's basically quid pro quo. Basically, the government did something for them, so they did back something for the government. Not my words, but that's what's out in the street. All right? It's alleged. Well, it's not even alleged. That's what they say out there, because I can provide a video of people calling the government mouthpiece station. All right, and to be honest, sometimes I kind of wonder if there's some truth to it, because how did Nationwide got these documents? Quite honestly, I think the Police Federation chairman should sue the constabulary force for violation of his privacy. I think he should. All right, so we're going to explore this thing. All right, so let's go back over this thing. Let's kind of recap to make sure you're following. So in 2020, I think it's 2021, there were three I'm not sure. I think there are three. The pastor was arrested for speaking about the prime minister. There was a young man that was arrested for using expletive about the prime minister. And there was another person. I don't remember the story about that. All right. And in just recently, the Police Federation chairman passed some remarks about the High Command, which were within his right as the delegate or the incumbent, if you want to use something, or the person assigned with the role of representing or advocating or standing or speaking on behalf of the persons, the rank and file persons in the police force. And he was interdicted. After he was interdicted, his lawyer, well, I don't think it was after, because there was a letter came out. I don't know if it was released before, but it was dated May. So maybe it was there before, but I don't know how it got into the public domain. All right, so now that letter raises questions about the validity of the legality of his position in the office, or the procedural correctness of his position in the office. Then after that, you have a situation that came out now that is going to blow your mind if you are not aware of it. All right, so this news media outlet, NN Nationwide News, I'm going to play this. I'm going to play the clip. Let me make sure that I'm not muted. I'm going to play the clip. Maybe I should mute my mic, I'm going to mute my microphone. I hope I remember to unmute it. So I'm going to mute my microphone so that I can play the clip. So I can always read it, but this news media outlets usually have like some voice thing as well, so you can always read and follow. I'm gonna mute my mic. All right, so there you have it. I muted my microphone because I didn't want to give any feedback. But all right, let's be honest here. Maybe Corporal James is in fact a comrade, a PMP. And for those listening overseas who may not be familiar with PMP, PMP stands for the People's National Party. It's a political party, just as how you have the Democratic Party in the USA, and you have the, what's the next one called? The Republican Party. Some people call it the GOP, the Grand Old Party. Now, if Corporal James took leave to campaign for the PMP, he did the wrong thing and he would have broken the rules. But I am not going to allow this to distract me from the principle of what occurred last month. Why was this matter not adjudicated? This happened from 2012. 2012 plus 10 is 2022, you know. So that's basically 11 years. So basically, if he had not said anything at the funeral, it would not be a problem. So it's like someone having a weapon to use against you when it suits them. What are the procedures for vetting a person when they are in or running for office as a president? What are the procedures? Was this not known? And when you listen to this article, you know, it would give the impression as if because the PMP came into power, it was sort of hush-hush. I mean, this media house did not explicitly say that, you know. But some things are inferred. Because if you go back into this, it says the PMP won the election. Right? So there was an election in 2011, you know. Right? There was a general election in 2011. And the PMP won. So Corporal James, the PMP was in power now, so maybe that is why Corporal James was not dismissed. That's what the article is suggesting. They're not saying that, but if you read, because you have to be a critical thinker, you have to be able to investigate, dissect, and read into things. You know? And to be honest with you, I see another recent situation which has some similitude to this situation, or similarities. For instance, in Jamaica, there is a prosecutor that is known, a lead prosecutor, or the chief prosecutor, that is known as the Director of Public Prosecution. Her name is Miss Paula Llewellyn. Now, the law in Jamaica states that once you're in public service, once you reach 60, you have to retire, police force, and so on. They have made different changes to different aspects of different places. But Paula Llewellyn, she was granted a 3-year extension, I think first, if not 3 or 2 years. I think it was 3 years. And then afterwards, she was granted, what you call it now? She was offered another 2 years by this current Andrew Honest-led administration. In fact, when the former leader of the opposition, Mr. Peter Phillips, was asked, because the law mandates that it must be based on an agreement. Well, I don't know if I should say agreement, you know. It must be communicated with the leader of the opposition. And at that time, it was Mr. Dr. Peter Phillips. And I think his words were, if I remember correctly, exactly, I have the most strongest, I think he said, I have the most strenuous objection. Because he said that on the basis that she has not, her rate of convictions in big cases and the number of missteps that led to throwing out of cases of or high-profile cases, and you know there's a big talk out there right now that she is being asked to stay on board to protect the government. So no, come after me, you know, and me say so. Are the people them a say so? Right? Because they're suggesting that they're keeping back this lady because they have some little thing coming up. Let me give a little bit of context as to what I hear. Because I am in political chat groups, you know. I might say, boy, this young man is a PMP. No, I'm not a PMP nor a Labourite. In fact, the political group that I am in, I created it in 2016. And one person called me the DPP in the group. I don't know if that's an honorable position to be called in light of what he said about the current DPP. But he said he called me that name because he see me as someone who kind of brings some level of fairness in the group because I am maybe one of the persons who's not politically aligned in the group. It's not a large group. I think it's a group of about like 9 persons. Anyway, to get back to the point, I don't know. I tell you. So I want to talk about this DPP situation. So the DPP is being asked, and the government has basically amended a law to allow her to stay back. So there's a story out there right now that that there are a number of persons who cannot account for their enrichment. So you call it I think the Integrity Commission, IC, which is an oversight body in Jamaica. They said that listen, these people cannot account for their enrichment. They call it illicit enrichment. In fact, the Prime Minister is said to not be able to have his filings or his declaration certified maybe over here now or something like that. And he's the Prime Minister of the country. So some persons are suggesting that, maybe it's a JLP for the most part, and that is why they want to keep this DPP, because seeing that she has a record of following up things and, let me give another example of what I hear some people talk about all over the place. For instance, Mr. Patrick Bailey, there was a big story some time ago. I think it was I don't want to tell you the lie, was it 2016? By Sarah Burton, 18 Degrees North. And she proved that Mr. Honest did not pay his taxes, right? So, people don't like to pay taxes. So I'm not even going to focus on that. But the part in it that is of concern to me is that Mr. Patrick Bailey was identified as Mr. Honest's attorney or lawyer. So several years ago, a man was killed in that man's house. Based on the police's investigation, the police conclude that there is no sign of forced entry. Right? But think about, people. If I live at home right now, my wife and my daughter, 3 of us live together, right? Let's say, let's say they come and find me stabbed up. The police in China come and find me stabbed up in the house, stabbed to death. The first thing they're going to look at is if anyone came from outside. And if no one came from outside, what do? You have to suspect someone who's inside. But the man that was on the inside with Mr. Bailey has never been seen as a suspect. And that man is the attorney of Mr. Honest. But anyway, we do not want to conflate the matter. We just want to stick to one issue. But I'm just trying to show you some situation going on. So I don't know. So why did I ask the question, is Jamaica becoming a dictatorship? Why did I ask that question? Because of some patterns that we have seen. We have seen some patterns that raises concerns, and the seeming attack. If you notice, I say seeming because it appears that way. It doesn't mean that it is so, but the seeming attack on free speech. So we're just asking the question, is Jamaica becoming a dictatorship? And can I tell you something, my people? One thing, I'm in China, and one thing I like about China is that from the onset, I know that I'm in a communist country. In fact, I don't even think China is even so much a communist country as they say it is. I would say China is more like I would say, maybe 60% communism and 40% capitalism. Yeah, I would say that. Maybe about 60% communism and 40% capitalism. In fact, no country has really ever survived on communism. If you don't believe me, take a look at Cuba right now. Cuba is one of the poorest, well, not poorest, one of the most underdeveloped countries in the Caribbean region. I mean, Haiti is number one. But Haiti is the poorest country, but if you go to Cuba, it's really underdeveloped. If you go to Bahamas, Jamaica is more developed than the Bahamas, but Bahamas has the highest income per capita. Perhaps because of their close proximity to the USA and all that. But, I want to just say something to the Prime Minister and those within the proximity of my voice. And I am going to say, just as how Mr. Wilfred Rattigan has said it, I don't want the Prime Minister to fail. I want the Prime Minister to succeed. And genuinely, for real, Because if the Prime Minister succeed, it means we will succeed. Well, but we do not want the Prime Minister to have personal success and we get screwed. We want the success of the Prime Minister to be predicated on the Jamaican interests. Because too long we have seen instances where the Prime Minister seems to be acting in the interest of his friends than on the interest of the Jamaican people. And there are some of you out there, you are in too much diehard politics, man. Boy, from my band, my mother was a labor, right? I mean, just grow up like that. Come on, man, you sound ridiculous. Because I'm on a platform like this, I don't want to be too rude, but you sound ridiculous, man. How can it be so ridiculous to say that? That don't make no sense, man. Where's the thinking in that? So because you're born, come see your mother a thief, you have to be a thief too? What about the thinking for yourself element? Think for yourself, man. Come on, man. We have to learn to think for yourself. That is mashing up the country. And I'm going to tell you something, I grew up in the ghetto, I grew up in Raytown, the border of Raytown and Southside, right down Lower South Camp Road here. So at one time, I used to see a picture of Babsy Grange, she cares on the wall and, Babsy Grange ate this video and she had talk about scabby. She might know some things that I'm talking about. I can't say on this thing here. Some bad men, some real criminals, scabby cut the pan and some people who really made the place miserable. Gunmen kill people and, some people would say, boy, the people protecting the criminals, but you don't understand. It's when you live in these places, you can't talk, man. When you go tell the police, the same police, go back and talk and call their name. It has happened. I know of that. I know of that. A lady was killed in her house right beside her man, and the man got shot in his hand and he couldn't talk. I remember one time I was living there and a stolen car was parked in my yard and I couldn't talk about it. Well, not a stolen car, they stole an engine and they kept it in my yard for months and I have to be seeing them put it and I can't say anything because these guys have their guns. But I elevated myself from that community and gave myself a chance. So many of you can do the same thing too. You don't have to have anything, you just need to have the mind and the will and the action to make a change. We need a change in Jamaica. Bigger than political change. We need a value change. One of my friends, I spoke to him about maybe we should go back to the values and attitudes program that was suggested by the former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson, and he kind of rubbish that. He said, no, he's not into that. But I believe that maybe that's what we need. Because guess what? What are values? Values are a set of standards that are internalized by people that influence their behavior. So if you internalize a standard in yourself to say that you're not going to steal, no matter how much money you see before, you're not going to thief it. Because you set your system to be like that. Why do some politicians go in and don't make a difference? Because they just have it into them. They don't want to make a difference. Just look at some of the politicians. every ministry they go, scandals follow them because they have that in their DNA. It's not about the party, you know. It's just the person. They have it in them. They don't want to make a difference. They don't care. And quite frankly, sometimes we have to blame the people. Because I see a leader like Damon Crawford set some example. Not just in talk, but in actions, giving classes. When he was the member of parliament, he said to them, no, push education. But the people themselves don't want that. You know, we could argue that maybe he should have taken the snail approach, do things in increments, because when people have been socialized into a culture, it's hard to get it out of them. The people them want money right now. So right now, ask yourself the question. If somebody paying you $20,000 to kill somebody, and you're hungry, would you do it? Or would you think about the more important thing, which is the value of a life? Remember, you know, when they kill somebody, you know, you cannot tell them sorry, you know. You might can go to the family and apologize, but no sorry can bring back the person. It means that someone is going to be living without a father or a mother. You know, so I don't know. Sometimes, you know, some persons might think that some of us are kind of push up enough, you know, why we do these things on social media. But it's just because God put something inside of us. It's just I have this thing inside of me. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to speak my mind. I am emboldened by my bad experiences and my good experiences to do good and to help. Yeah, man. So that's why I do this. That is why I do this. So you're tuning to Secure Justice for Peace with your host, Claudius Maye. All right. You see that? Yeah, man. So I want to make the experience an interesting one for you. I'll drop a mic or something, you know. I like this song.
What a Gwaan in a Jamaica. What a Gwaan in a Jamaica. Me fit tell you what a Gwaan in a Jamaica. Me mix up now. What a
Yeah, man. What a Gwaan in a Jamaica. But anyway, still, you know, I think I basically exhausted. Everything that I should about this topic. So I want you guys to, you know, just support me, man. You know, support the thing, man. Support the thing. Subscribe. Subscribe, man, eh? Subscribe. Share the video with someone. Tell a friend about it. Help the channel to grow. I'm not doing this for money. I am working already. I don't, you know, I mean, I can only supplement my income with this year, but I mean, I'm working, I'm alright. I'm not going to tell that I reach everywhere in life, but, you know, hit the subscribe, share the video with a friend, you know. Say, hey, you know, I watched an interesting video on YouTube with a young fellow by the name of Claudius, you know, you should check it out. Everybody's busy. When you get the time, no worries, no rush. All right, so I'm going to end it right here now. I'm going to end it right here. Maybe I could leave with a song, close out with a song. Which song should I close out with right now? I don't even know which one of my songs. I'm going to play one of my songs and just close out the thing. Maybe I could close out with this one. I'm an old pilgrim on this rocky old road, doing my time to get by. Heart sometimes won't tell no lie, at times I cry. I still try. We are I've made mistakes time after time, fell out of line, some do too. Messed up so bad, won't say what I've done. What about